I made a mistake when I secretly started learning my girlfriend's native language, Afrikaans, without her knowing. My girlfriend, originally from South Africa, would often speak Afrikaans with her friends, and I thought it would be a romantic surprise to learn her language before meeting her parents for the first time. I enrolled in online courses and practiced on and off for over a year. My intention was pure, but learning Afrikaans unintentionally exposed me to private conversations I was never meant to understand. Over time, I overheard sensitive details during her phone calls with friends. These included her plans to reunite with her high school metal band to perform for my birthday, her secret thoughts about getting a Harry Potter-themed tattoo on her back, and her casual remarks about how my body looks different through her glasses compared to contact lenses. She even joked about suspecting my parents might be swingers due to the couple she saw at their house and revealed she secretly finished watching Better Call Saul without me, even though we had promised to watch it together. As time passed, I learned too much, and it was difficult to pretend I knew nothing. Later, when I proposed to her in Afrikaans, she was deeply surprised and moved. I confessed that I had been learning her language in secret and unintentionally overheard private conversations. She was embarrassed, but apologized for anything she might have said that made me uncomfortable. We worked through these revelations, and despite some awkward moments, like her jokingly accusing me of being the child of swingers, we grew closer. The Harry Potter tattoo remained under consideration, and she ultimately decided against reuniting her band due to conflicts among the members. However, things took a turn as the months went by. While initially engaged, we ended up breaking up. In retrospect, my attempt to connect by learning Afrikaans may have crossed a boundary of trust, even unintentionally. Our relationship couldn't withstand the challenges we faced, but the experience taught me the importance of transparency and boundaries in building a connection. Back when my girlfriend and I were still together, she had this wild theory that my parents were swingers, based solely on the fact that they always had people over at their house. I never believed it. I thought it was hilarious that someone could think my parents were that interesting. After we broke up, I struggled to move on. My apartment held too many memories of us, so I called my parents to ask if I could stay with them for a bit to clear my head. They agreed, and my dad even offered to pick me up. What should have been a quick 10-minute drive turned into a 45-minute detour because my dad decided to take the scenic route. Between his attempts to cheer me up with dad jokes, he started doing that awkward thing dads do when they're trying to bring up an uncomfortable topic but can't quite spit it out. Eventually, I had to stop him and beg for some clarity. That's when he dropped the bombshell. Since it was unclear how long I was planning to stay, he felt obligated to prepare me for what I might encounter at their house. If my ex had been there, she would have punched me on the shoulder and said, "I told you so," because my dad went on to confirm her theory. It wasn't just speculation. It was the truth. By the time we got to the house, I was thoroughly traumatized by everything he'd told me. From what I could gather, my parents had been swingers when they first met. They'd stopped once they had kids, deciding that it wasn't something they wanted to pursue while raising a family. But when the house became theirs again after my siblings and I moved out, they decided to give it another go, and as my dad put it, they still got it. Hosting swinger parties had apparently become a regular event at their place, often with themes. My parents were even planning an upcoming party, themed around prom night. My mom had considered canceling it, so I could stay as long as I wanted, but they hadn't canceled a party since before the pandemic, so it was a big decision for them. My dad shared all of this in excruciating detail, ensuring I was thoroughly informed. I ended up staying at their house for 2 days. It quickly became apparent that knowledge wasn't power for me, it was pure punishment. My mom, who had no idea I knew about their lifestyle, tried her best to convince me to stay longer. She almost succeeded, but I was done with my dad turning every father-son moment into a game of guess which neighbors are also swingers. I eventually called an Uber to escape. No more car rides with Dad. I never thought I'd be so relieved to return to my apartment, haunted as it was by memories of my failed relationship. As for why my ex and I broke up, it came down to a tattoo. After her friend passed away, she decided to get his name tattooed on the back of her neck. This friend was someone she'd casually slept with before meeting me. I made it clear to her beforehand that, while it was her body and her choice, I would feel uncomfortable seeing another guy's name on her body for the rest of our lives, especially someone she had been intimate with. She went ahead with the tattoo anyway. It was small and barely visible, according to her, but I knew it was there, and that was enough for me. It became very visible during moments of intimacy, which added to the discomfort. We argued about it constantly until the arguments escalated into saying hurtful things we couldn't take back. In the end, she kept the tattoo, and I walked away. It was clear the tattoo mattered more to her than our relationship, and now it's still there and I'm not.